I'd like to call the meeting to order. Do you have anybody on this?
Not that I saw.
All right, has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Do you have a motion to approve? Second?
Yeah.
All in favor? Derek?
I didn't read them, so I mean,
So we have 4 to approve them in lots.
You good?
Visitor comments. They're good?
I'm on the agenda.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, correct. Okay, then we'll go to the old business and. Mark.
Hi.
Would you like to come and sit?
Yeah, please.
Hi, my name's Maud Bouchard Trist. I'm on the Arts Commission for Webster Groves. And in my day job, I'm a senior project manager with St. Louis Economic Development Partnership. So happy to be meeting with my city's business development council. So we're reaching out to several of the business commissions and the different business commissions for like Old Webster, Old Orchard, and Crossroads, and also wanted to meet with you just because we have a new group of leaders and commissioners and wanted to facilitate new networks and connections around how the arts and business development in Webster Groves can connect. So if you're not familiar with the Business Commission, our mission, it was established in 2006. And the commission supports the arts and participation in the arts and encourages and maintains connections with organizations in the city that do public artwork. There's an organization that you may be familiar with called Webster Arts. They do the annual arts fair. That's a nonprofit entity that's separate from the Art Commission. One thing that we do annually is an Achievement in the Arts Award. And so we're accepting nominations until I think Monday. We've been accepting nominations through the month for anyone who has contributed to arts in Webster Groves, whether they're a resident or a teacher, or they don't have to be a resident of Webster Groves, but we are still accepting nominations for that. And this is the first year that we've made it a public request for input on people who have impacted public art in Webster Groves. The main reason why we have reached out today, though, is because we're working on a series of roundtable discussions and that we're going to have with each of the individual business districts, and wanted to hear a little bit more about what thoughts and plans there may be for public art in each of those business districts. I wanted to meet with you sort of as like having that overall holistic perspective for the whole municipality. Just wanted to get a sense from you on where you would like to see public art. What does public art mean? How could it support business and culture in Webster Groves? So that's really why we appreciate you putting us on the agenda and why we wanted to meet with you today and hear any initial thoughts or next steps that this commission might have.
I have a few questions. Because you said that there is a separate nonprofit.
Webster Arts is a separate nonprofit, which is, I think, are you in Betty Books?
Yeah.
Okay, so which is housed over by Betty Books in the Old Orchard district. So they're a 501c3 that puts together the Webster Arts Fair annually, and they do a lot of other programming and promotions of the arts, like they do Paint Webster and things like that. Whereas the Art Commission is just like you guys, an entity of the city of Webster Groves. And so what we have historically done in the past is a regular art, the annual honor, honoring someone who's made a significant achievement in the arts. Last year, we honored Tom Engelhardt, cartoonist with the Post-Dispatch, who it was posthumously. And the year before that, we also gave a posthumous award to Bob Castley, who established the City Museum and also did the apple chairs in Old Orchard. And then we've also done art fund collections for specific public art installations. Later this summer, we're going to have we're going to be renaming the sculpture garden in honor of former Mayor Welch, and we're raising funds right now to install a sign with her name, and we'll have a ribbon cutting and some food and drink in a band. So that's sort of the separation between what the City Arts Commission does and the nonprofit Webster Arts does.
Okay, so the Arts Commission that you're with is like this commission where it's, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
It was a little bit hard to visualize for a second, but that's better and more clear. So the other cultural institutions that are here in Webster, such as like the Opera Theater and the Rep and things like that, are they a part of that commission?
So those are all individual nonprofits, and what we want to do is do a better job of facilitating connections to both for-profit and nonprofit art entities in Webster Groves. So from the art galleries to the Webster Groves Theater Guild and the Opera Theater of St. Louis, based in Webster Groves. So last month, or at the beginning of the month when we met, we actually we provided a letter requesting a conversation with Opera Theater to ask how we could support them to reconsider staying in Webster Groves. So that's the role that we are trying to facilitate, those connections with all those external partners within the city limits.
So on the subcommittee, we have a subcommittee that's just business owners and things like that, shops, restaurants and things. That try to come together collaboratively. And we've identified quarterly, like different promotions of our region that we wanted to do. And so we've been trying to find a way to include some of those cultural institutions, just as one Webster as a voice, to promote to the region. Is that something where we would collaborate with the Arts Commission, or are all of these things kind of independent right now and we're trying to find a way to integrate them into collaborative?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the reason why our president, Janice Seal, she helped get me on the agenda today. Why she wants to reach out to all these different commissions is to just see if there is a way for us to work together and to not be siloed, and to either be invited to participate in that subcommittee, just so we can share information, and then maybe we can, if we see, Old Orchard or the Crossroads District is really going to be perfect for putting in a piece of public visual art here, then we can help to facilitate that. And if that's what is decided collaboratively by the businesses.
When did this commission start?
2006, and so it has a long history of under Mayor Welch, and then over the last 2 to 3 years, the leadership has really it's rolled over, and we have a nearly completely new board commission. Yeah.
And I'll join once with this more popcorn bar.
I had a question about the nominating people for the art award? How would one do that?
We have a form
Okay.
on the city website, and I can email it to the staff contact that's after this. And we promoted it, like we're promoting it on social media, but we also got it, the city got it in the Webster Arts page, and we had a little write-up in the Webster Kirkwood Times about it.
So what is the vision that the commission has for the roundtables?
We are, we're asking, what other, what the commissions want to do. We've heard from Old Orchard that they think that we should, collaborate with the, I think the business chamber or another non-government entity, rather than with that chamber directly. But I'm meeting with, I think Old Orchard next week, for their meeting, and just gonna hear from them. But we're thinking like a morning breakfast meeting, before, normal store hours start, and, maybe do, 2 or 3 conversations.
Combine everything probably. Does that be the goal or?
I mean, we were debating, we were sort of thinking opening it up to more than just the
Yeah.
commissioners, so doing it like sort of triangulate it.
Okay.
Have one breakfast at each within each district.
So one of the things that, and why we have the subcommittee, is that there's so many businesses outside of those 3.
That's very true.
And so like, for example, the subcommittee, that is kind of the point of it, is to bring everybody in from all around. Those meetings are the first Tuesday of the month, 9 AM at the annex. I'm
I think
sure,
we could show up late. Our commission meetings are the first Tuesday at 8:30. But we could also trade off, but
where do you have your meetings?
in here.
Oh,
But yeah, I think maybe
So
being able,
not next, it's next week, July?
yeah.
July
Tuesday?
1st.
July
Okay,
1st,
yeah,
which
so
is
next
next week.
Tuesday then
Yeah.
will be our next one. How critical is the reach out to Opera Theater right now? Where are they at in their decision making?
I don't have information on that. All I know is that they have right of first refusal for that site in Clayton. But there's a lot of fundraising that would have to go on in order to successfully mail.
And so are they moving because the facilities here aren't meeting their needs, or because there's the interest or something?
Yeah, so off the top of my head, I'd have to go back to my notes. But the 2 things that stick out to me that I've heard are, one, the facility. It doesn't have like a full orchestra. I'm not a theater person, but like it doesn't have a fly area. It needs better loading dock space, things like that. So it's definitely the facility, but in addition to that, it's what I've heard is they feel that it's a best kept secret, and they don't want to be a secret, and they feel that they're sort of hidden, or it's not as convenient. They think that being in the central corridor would be considered more convenient. But I've also heard that they love the greenery in the garden space for some of their outside production activities. And so we think that's an asset. We think that we can do a better job of communicating and partnering to make sure that they're not a secret. We think Webster Gross is incredibly convenient, located. So that's some of what we've heard.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of overlapping interest by multiple stakeholders there,
Yeah.
right? You know, between the rep, the university, Opera Theater, the businesses and restaurants of Webster Groves.
Yeah.
And everything else.
If I may
Yeah.
add, the city is also like talking with
Amphitheater St. Louis, to figure out, what could them staying look like? So those conversations are in progress as well, because they are such a valued asset to our community. And so we're taking that really seriously. And so there's some productive conversations being had at the city level. I can't share much more than that, but we're actively participating in encouraging them to stay.
And I think that the Arts Commission, the letter that we drafted was included in a packet of information that was added to those city level conversations. And it may make sense. I don't know if it's late or not, or what additional value, but perhaps hearing from this commission as well could be beneficial.
Yeah. I think, I know there was some outreach to specific commissions to ask that the chairs, write a letter of support. So, yeah, that has happened for this commission as well. Do you have anything to add? Jameson?
And so you have a very big agenda. I don't want to take up much more of your time. I really appreciate it. If it's okay for me to sit in and listen to the rest of it, I would happily do that. But I'm the secretary, so let me see if somebody else may be available to attend the 9 a.m. meeting at the annex for the subcommittee on what is it called? The small
It's
business.
See collaboration, yeah,
Okay.
it's really just about getting,
It's a collaborative
Yeah.
subcommittee.
Okay, and that may be the best way, and it's really just wanted to initiate a formal conversation so we can have informal side conversations and help to not be so siloed in how we prioritize public art and how it can benefit businesses and the broader culture and Webster.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you very much, that's good.
Okay, any other questions? Well, before we move on. The happy hour. Coffee, any update?
We are close, we have Wellens for the August happy hour,
It's reserved.
okay,
I haven't signed.
okay, so I think that's probably part of
I think it's.
this meeting would be we're good with having the happy hour at Llewellyn's. Sound like
Is
it?
that what the committee's recommending?
Yeah, that's what we're recommending.
Okay, all right,
Jerry and I would like to formally recommend that.
okay. And what's the date on that? August?
14,
14th. Is there a time?
5, 7.
Okay. And what would be the budget request from the BDC? And were we approved for our requests with the budget?
Yes, I believe as it was revised, I think it was revised to like 7,000.
Okay. All right, yeah. So is there a budget request from the committee for the BDC portion of this?
Traditionally, we've done 500 from a city
Yeah.
standpoint, and then the chamber
Yeah, we'll match.
can match that.
The question is for the commission, do we want to offer a voucher, a one drink voucher? Unlike, Melissa was incredibly gracious in, giving us a discount on our January happy hour. Llewellyn's is not. They're waiving the fee of the room. So there is going to be cost. I would project it's going to be more than what we incurred.
And that's why we upped our budget request to the council, because we want these to be fair market value events for our restaurants and businesses.
Right.
The city cannot cover alcohol. Correct?
Yes.
So we would need to see how that breaks out in the estimate but can we approve up to a certain amount here so that they can move forward with that?
I think so. And I also think that let me look into that process, because is there a way that like the chamber could cover it and then we just reimburse the chamber?
That's what the chamber did the last time. So, it's not fair to the establishment to ask them to split. And
Oh, yeah, no.
so I think one of two things to consider. One is no drink vouchers. We would cover the appetizers and the food, which $1,000 should be more than enough. I mean, that should be ample. The other is that, because you got to serve, you want to serve food, because not everybody's going to come in and drink. So that would be my recommendation. We cover the food. We avoid any kind of issue with the alcohol.
Can you cover alcohol?
I do cover alcohol.
You do.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we did with Series.
Okay.
And then I issue an invoice to the city, and then the city reimburses. But there's no reference to alcohol. It's just for the happy hour.
Can I,
So whatever you guys
can I,
decide.
can I suggest we not do Llewellyn's? They're not really willing to work with us. I don't really want to work with them. I mean, if it's a city thing and they don't want to help us out, I mean, waiving the room fee, I mean, that's minimal. I mean, that room's not being used. So
Exactly. It's.
I'm not really cool with that at all.
Good.
You know, there's plenty of restaurants in this. I would think, John Barr would be happy to work with us.
I mean, that's wonderful, but somebody's gonna have to approach him because he
Okay.
wanted to charge us $2,000 for the upstairs room. Yes.
Well, I think
Really?
That's why
part of
we-
the
The budget,
There's
yeah.
minimum-
issue
there's a
with, we
minimum.
want, yes, it's lovely if there's a, generous offer from one of our establishments. However, at the end of the day, margins are tight. This is a really messed up economy. And just in general, we should be supporting our restaurants full on.
We could go on a random night to charge for a room.
They're not charging for the room. They're waiving them.
Well, that's right, so but $2,000, John Barr wants to charge.
No, that's not a charge for the room. That's a minimum
That's
budget for the event type of.
food, alcohol, whatever.
That's
And
like it's a minimum tab requirement.
it's another way of saying room rental.
But I think what the
What?
commission is focused on is investing into the businesses and not, for lack of better words, asking for a handout. So they want to be able to support where they can.
Where I come from is, it's very difficult for me as president of the Trade Association for Old Webster, is we get no support from the restaurants outside of what's the name from Parkmore and what's this other restaurant? I mean, they don't come to meetings, they don't, there's no part of anything they do. And we try incredibly to support them as well too. So we're a great place for restaurants but they don't support Webster.
So let me propose another thought.
Okay.
Because I don't disagree,
Mhm.
trying to be non-biased here, because it has been anything but an easy conversation
Okay.
with Llewellyn's.
Okay.
And I'll leave it at that. I did stop into Perennial and I talked to Casey, who's the event planner at, it's Olive and Oak, and she was gracious enough. We saw the room. I explained. Remember last August, we had, I thought, a spectacular happy hour at Clover and the Bee.
Mhm.
Tammy, you and I have talked offline about just the convenience factor and being on, the main street. If the commission is willing, I'd be more than happy to go back to see if that room is available.
We hold all of our trade association meetings at O&O Pizza. And there's no charge, there's no anything. They serve us coffee, water, they've got everything out. Let's go there. Someone that actually does give back to the community, in my opinion. I'm not,
Who do you work with there to reserve the room?
Mark. I mean, and that's for O&O, and Franny's done a lot of the legwork on that, obviously. But no, it's directly with Mark.
Great. My correspondence with Mark has only been through emails, and he kind of sends me over to Casey to kind of negotiate.
Sure.
And there's always been a minimum room charge. When I say a room charge, it's a minimal food, just to reserve the room. So, if you don't mind, lob it in.
Fran, we can talk to Margaret about that, right?
What
Or-
about, what is the ask that you're, want me to pursue?
August
Uh-huh.
14th, happy hour.
Well, in our proposal to the city, we're referring it's an after hours meeting instead of happy hour because of the alcohol.
After our restaurant meeting.
There you go.
After hours, yeah, it's an after hours BDC meeting or get together, networking.
I'm still not clear. You threw a lot of locations out, so give me,
What is the recommendation from the committee? What would you guys like?
I mean, we'd like to work with people, who everyone wants to work with, you know, I think that's.
Listen, Llewellyn has been a transactional conversation. It's not been one of a relationship based, so I, it's available. Pardon?
I don't think they'll all be that way. I do think Tam is very, Books Commission is very focused on making Webster a collaborative effort. And so, you know,
Sometimes
it might be
that takes-
transactional right now, but I think, you know, let's not knock someone out just because right now it's transactional. We build those relationships and maybe it'll grow from there, but just food for thought for the commission, but if it's not feasible for this time, but I just don't want I would suggest this consensus not be, they don't want to give us something for free, we're not gonna go there.
Yeah, I don't think it's about free. It's about the ability to want to work with us
Mhm.
as opposed to just filling an order and issuing a PO. And that's how the conversation has been, even though we lead with the fact that it is the Webster Groves Business Development Commission, we're bringing business leaders, business influencers over. It just doesn't seem to register.
I agree though with Tiara that we're trying to take steps forward to include. And to, you know, bring people in. And so it isn't always going to be, oh, of course, we always, you know, like, we'll host all your meetings with that type of a thing. It's gonna be, sometimes it's gonna be, we're not sure, and then we go. And that's also being ignored.
If I can, I mean, just the flipping the coin over, the reason that we reached out to Llewellyn's first off is they're celebrating their 50th anniversary. That's something that I think the community should embrace. Secondly, they have new ownership, which again, putting on my chamber hat, I want to embrace that. I've gotten no response, none whatsoever.
And that's my problem. That's where my problem is.
Now, does Llewellyn's have multiple locations around town?
3.
So it may be that they don't feel as connected to our community at this time.
Frankly, I don't know what else I can do. I've been there like 3 times. I've spent money. I've had meetings there. I've had lunches there. I've asked to speak with the manager. The manager ignores me, even though when I'm there, hands me off to the event planner, which is fine if that'll ladder us up to more influence. It's just been no interest in it.
The BDC should not be begging for to spend money at someone's business. I mean, we can vote and do whatever everybody chooses, but that's just my opinion.
So what's the recommendation at this point?
If Perennial was successful, I was not at that happy hour, but I say we go back there because they were more willing to work with us.
Am I recalling correctly from our budget submission that we had allocated up to $1,500 for the after hour networking events?
I can't remember the exact dollar amount right now, but I can look and
Yeah,
follow up after. But I don't think that stops you guys from maybe choosing space.
right.
But I'll look and follow up.
What I was wondering is in the interest of time, because this is something that they're wanting to do in August, can we do a preemptive vote of a final location that to be determined by the committee with a budget up to a certain amount that the BDC will approve for August? Can we do that?
I think you can do that, but again, it will just depend on the space and then what they want and how much you have. So with the revisions, I don't know what that number is.
do we have to have a vote or can we just trust? And you to find.
I think anytime we spend money, we need to vote, is that correct?
I don't,
Or we need to approve a budget amount?
Well, we've chosen that we're spending money on this event. It's just the locations of the event.
I don't think there's a vote that's required. Shame on me, I should know this. If you want to, just to make sure, we could go through and have a vote on that, set that money aside, and I can find out if going forward, if we need to vote on every time there is money allocated for a project.
I would like to request maybe if Eric and I can huddle with a very short deadline where we can reach out to Mark and Casey, the event manager, who I feel like we've got now a relationship, and see if the date's available and then come back. But I think to your point, getting a budget approved and the event.
I think we are well within budget to say 1,000.
My heart says 1,000.
So if we were to say to
You said that.
have everyone agree at this point that they can move ahead without further approval, for a budget up to $1,000 from the BBC.
I motion to approve $1,000 for after hours event meeting on August 14th. Location to
Quick question, sorry, is that, I don't know if this is that order or not, but is that up to 1,000 with the chamber match?
Chamber can go $500. I just want to be clear on that. I can't speak for my board, but I have approval on 500,000.
So for that motion, we need a second.
Is that gonna get us very far? If not knowing what the minimum tab is for your locations, approving 1,000 with a contribution of 500 from the chamber, is that gonna get us to where we need to be?
Again, I come back to, we don't have any obligation to serve alcohol, but I think $1,000, 500 each, to provide appetizers, a cheese plat, whatever it might be, should be more than enough.
So I would say 570,000. So you'll have 1,000 total. Don't commit 1,000 up front.
And then it would be a cash box.
They would be responsible for donations.
but they're gonna be writing the checks and we're writing a check to them, right? So we can kind of get around that.
Oh, that's not the concern.
Okay.
I feel like that we have a pretty fair method on how to handle that. I think the concern is, how much money do we want to allocate? And do we want to, the question would be, does this group want to say, like, you get a drink or a beverage voucher, for whatever beverage you might want? Or are we just covering snacks?
Based on last year's event, do we have an idea of number of attendees?
75. We had 75
75.
people.
Do you know what the cost was of that?
$1,200
Altogether.
altogether. Now, that's because Mark he provided the cheese platter. You remember all the hors d'oeuvres that were on the table. So that was his gift to us. I've been asking for that, but I can't guarantee he's going to do that again.
All right, what if I revise my, I motion to approve. What's that? No. I motion, to, authorize up to $1,000, not 500, just up to, and maybe you go back and you get 600. And so that would match what we had, but they won't do it anymore. They won't go up anymore. You can't go back. And ask for more.
Oh, I can always ask, but I can tell you because I'm
Sure, you budget, right?
I've only got 500.
Okay. And is it a problem if we do 1,000 and they do 500? I mean, 75 people is a good number of people. That's nice. That's a nice number to get together to.
I have no, we asked for, over 1,000 per, whatever match we get is a bonus.
Right.
You know, and a collaboration. So I
And
don't have any problems.
It's with the chamber, it's St. and Webster, so, my motion will be up to $1,000. For our after hours. After hours.
Networking.
Networking, event. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Those in favor? It's unanimous.
Did that cover the voucher question of the food?
It can, I mean, it depends on the cost, right? So we're at $1,500 total, what I'm
And
hearing.
maybe non-alcoholic beverages can be included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can huddle.
We'll huddle. We'll track them down. We'll walk down there right now.
And just a quick suggestion, maybe it's like the first 40 people get a voucher.
Yeah,
depending
like
on
the
where you
first
land.
so many.
Yeah, the first 25 people who arrive get a ticket for beverage.
Ooh. Come early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
No, that's good thought there. Okay, any other questions on, we have the date for the coffee set, is that correct?
Yes.
Before we move on to the coffee. I didn't hear anything about dates for getting the word out. You committed to getting it out earlier this time.
For the after hours networking event.
Gotta get the word out.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could send out an email and still say location to be determined, but this is the
No,
date.
you guys need to come up with what your plan is and what the invitation's gonna look like and who's gonna do it.
Right, it has not, it
Yes,
hasn't been
I do.
included
You
in
guys.
the newsletter.
Yes.
The newsletter, what has been included last month, and then this month it's in the draft, but it's location TBD because we didn't have the location. The date was
Still
on there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
is this, when the subcommittee has nailed it down,
Mhm.
can one of the members of the subcommittee create the invitation or the wording
Yeah.
that can be then shared?
We can do it.
And then you can include the details of first 25 people, get a voucher for a drink, non-alcoholic free, whatever the details are. of
Okay.
that.
Absolutely. And then we can distribute it via constant contact.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Will you-
Jerry and I are gonna produce the flyer once we have the date, and then constant contact we can use to distribute.
Yes.
How do we route that? What do we do?
So when you have, is this just for the invitation for constant contact? Because if it's for the newsletter, you send it to me.
Yeah,
If it's for constant contact.
okay.
So if we just create like a PNG file,
And your wording or whatever you sent to Betty wording wise, just send all that to me, we'll get it taken care of.
newsletter.
And when are we gonna have this done by, we think?
Tomorrow afternoon.
It's fine. I'm good.
Serious?
Yeah,
And you also
Yeah.
have the RSVP feature now. on
Okay.
constant contact, just to kind of get a rough estimate of how many people.
okay. I think that's important.
And we'll promote it as well, and we'll have. And that'll go out.
Copy, I know that we had tried lining those up. Do we have venue or have we reserved the?
Yes, September 18th, the room is reserved, Cheyenne. Thank you, Yara. You kicked the yoga class out, appreciate that. I'm just kidding. I think there was a class in there that,
The only question I have is, can you send me, what the setup of the room is? So that I can email Katie back to make sure that they set it up the correct way. And that's the last thing, but the room is.
Was there any special presentations or collaborations? Is that where we maybe want to have the art commission come in with some kind of table or information, or like the Green Dining Alliance? Do we want to include?
yeah, I think the art commission would be great, to spread the word. I know we talked about previous coffee, we had a lot of good conversations with Tim Brinkman from Greater St. Louis Inc. I think something like that, having, you know, a presentation would also be beneficial, you know, something like that.
You mean asking him to come back? again?
Yeah,
Or
or for
something
someone who can speak to current legislative issues and how they impact small businesses.
Can we just do that?
We did.
Did. It was sparsely attended though.
Is there anything
Partially it's an
noteworthy?
understatement.
Is there anything noteworthy in the works from the city's perspective that would be a good?
There's a comprehensive plan. I'm really excited about it. Can you guys tell? I don't know where we will be at that point with the comp plan. We will probably still be in discussion. We could potentially talk to that. The plan commission meets on the 7th of July we're assuming they'll vote to recommend it. But we don't know if they're gonna have that vote or if they're gonna have more conversation. And then it comes to us probably in August. It's 250 pages. So it's a lot to review and go through. So I imagine it'll hang with us for a few meetings. I can find out if you all think that would be an interesting thing to share with the community. I think it's interesting.
I would suggest that we wait until it's done
Okay,
to explain what is going on in Webster instead of what might be going on in Webster. You know, I think it's a great topic. I think it could get a lot of people there. But I think that might be for the next one, once it's all approved, to say this is where Webster's going.
And we can also like work on this. We've got another couple of meetings before September. I just wanted to see if there was anything.
I know there's been a lot of talks about the economic development sales tax, so I think that's moving forward or could be moving forward, the potential vote. So it might be worth, you know, discussing that. And that's something we talk about, you know, before it happens, because it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Need to know why it would go up. It would be great to show them something tangible that Webster could buy with.
Who do we have to speak on that?
Well, we don't know where the city is at in their thoughts on that,
because of that,
but also
because-
I think it could be helpful for the businesses to understand if any grants or fundings have been impacted by recent changes. Okay, so like the Safe Streets for All and everything, it's
Holding steady. So I mean, from the city perspective, I'm not gonna say we don't have anything to contribute, but I don't think anything ready for this September conversation yet. I mean, I think what I would recommend though is you have a couple meetings to talk about what you want, but you have to keep in mind if you're gonna invite people to speak and give presentations that they'll need time to prepare for that. So it might not be tables where people walk around. Maybe you have a presentation or a workshop and just coffee. I know the chamber has plenty of resources where you guys are providing professional or business development. Maybe talk to Jerry about maybe who they have who can come in. Just more of a one-stop shop than trying to get multiple topics to talk about. That would be my recommendation for the September meeting, but it's up to you.
we can always include a station where we're asking for feedback or concerns too, you know, kind of leave that type of open thing for any questions we want to ask, or sometimes that's a helpful thing you person. Okay, we are starting to run short on time, so I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster here. The BDC subcommittee update, the last time we met, we tried to nail down what the 4 quarterly periods would be collaboratively that we would promote to the region. We already had the Webster, we also reflected on the Webster and Bloom. There were some, with every event, there was, you know, like some learning moments of places that wanted to participate, how they could do it better and differently in the future, that fit their business model well. So if we look at the seasons, we have spring is Webster and Bloom. We did the Fall Fest last year, and then we have the existing Webster Wonderland. So what the subcommittee is proposing is that we looked at the different shoulder seasons that were not represented, where we might like to drive some interest to the region. Winter is a natural downtime for a lot of our businesses and restaurants, but we felt like it would be a harder push to try and encourage people to come in after the holiday season when a lot of discretionary spending has been done. So we thought the summer could be nice and that we could connect existing efforts such as the summer sidewalk sale, community days, that type of a season with the patios for the restaurants and things like that, that we may get some more traction on that. And is the gazebo series in this region?
Starts in mid-August and runs through
Okay, so
mid-September.
that's more fall. Yeah, so that was where we were at that meeting. And so I guess we wanted to find out from the BDC, the commission, if that time period, if these time periods make sense, and if we want to adopt those as some goals of collaboration.
Those time periods make a lot of sense.
Any concerns about if we were to use the summer community days and expand on that? Because it's not 4th of July, we thought that it could just be broadened a little bit to kind of tuck in some of the things that are already happening.
I mean, from a messaging standpoint, community days is community days. So the parade, the pet pageant, fireworks, in the carnival, that's community days. So anything you do outside of that, don't do it in a way that you're rebranding what community days is, but more so this is happening in our city and this is what our businesses are doing to celebrate that. So that's all I would say, but I wouldn't, when you say expand, I don't really know exactly what you mean by that.
Well, so kind of like we
Back off.
Yes.
So with the posters and that effort that is happening, it started with the Fall Fest and everything. I think that was where the committee was coming from, was what would we want to call this? And in absence of any other thoughts, because this was a lot to kind of go through, we looked at the calendars and like what the different areas already have planned. We didn't know what to call it. And so that's kind of a placeholder, but if we don't want to impact the branding of the 4th of July celebrations and the pageants and all of that, we could go back to the committee and ask for another proposed.
For your summer marketing, I wouldn't call it community days just because again, it has its own identity. And it sounds like what you're doing is way more than just that 1 week in July. So I would recommend another name that's Summer in Webster or something like that. I don't know, but for both reasons, I would say maybe another.
I agree and disagree just a little bit. I don't think we need to call it community days. I don't think that has to be. But I've said for a long time in this commission that we should use that. I mean, that is a fantastic opportunity to do all of Webster. We don't, it's not part of community days. It's not, but while you are enjoying all these wonderful events, come to our stores, our restaurants, our other things. Again, not touching the community's words. I don't think that needs to be done. But we have people here that come from everywhere. And let's get businesses to promote, hey, come to Zoe's Attic, come to Betty's Books, come here while you're here and stop by. The parade route's going right by my new store. I think that is a fantastic opportunity for Webster full inclusive a deal. And it doesn't have to be, like I said, community days. It's just they're already here. We as the BDC work to get them to look at not just community days, but just other stores and restaurants. Is that sound okay with you?
Yeah, I think that's what she was communicating.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that we do that brings in people from around the region
Mhm.
that they look forward to every year. It is a part of the traditions. It's something that people look for, and it would be silly of us to not find ways to try and build repeat visiting on that and make sure that they understand all of the different things. we have
And
to
that's what
offer.
I've said. I mean, it's tough is being part of the trade, for our the events that we have established in Old Webster to try and include all of Webster in those, because it's tough. It's tough to, we've put a lot of money, time, 20-25 years in some of these events. But this is a classic Webster event. So for us to build off it, I think it's a great idea.
So naturally, there's no runway to do that this year, but we have a full year to do it for next year. So we'll more to come on that and how that could work.
I think that's a great start for this commission, other than the other things that we were doing. But I think that's a great start to building that Webster exclusive. Well done.
Great. So that was from the subcommittee. Any other comments or questions or things that you would like brought back to that meeting next week?
Will the meeting be on the 1st, not the 8th?
Did we say the 8th?
It just says on here may change. So I just wanted to just check.
Oh, that's only if people decide that they're going to, that there won't be any attendance because folks are. But as far as I understand. First.
Okay. The Merchant of Business Association Old Orchard.
In other words, the
Forming-
annex.
having their thing on the 8th.
Yeah,
Right.
they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
At 9, so.
I would like to attend both
Things will be considered.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah,
July 1st.
They will not.
We look forward to
Got that
seeing.
clone thing, right?
Okay. Great. Next thing, the June newsletter. Is there anything else that you need from us?
No, the only thing that was left to figure out was the happy hour location.
You'll have that tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
And you don't have to send it back to me, Brandon, as soon as you
Yes, it is. Okay.
The event activities plan, was that covered in the BDC or the subcommittee update, Fran?
The plan that Tiara needs,
Yes.
so that she can do the overall arching marketing.
doesn't sound like we're there yet.
No, it
Yeah, it
doesn't.
sounds like we're getting closer to that destination, but we're not there yet. BDC communication options.
From my perspective, the new RSVP feature. Everybody except 3 individuals were successful. Did you guys? Is that? And you were able to add it to your calendars and all that kind of stuff?
It did not auto populate to a calendar for me.
No, you have to select it when you
I did.
respond and you connect, and then it provides an attachment. Which you have to open.
I clicked it, but we'll try again.
Okay,
It's great.
cause I wanna use it for the.
Sure.
Yeah.
Happy hour.
That's happy hour.
Yeah.
Or the,
After.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
the unhappy hour.
It worked for the Old Orchard one though.
It
Sure,
did.
it went on my
Okay, good.
calendar.
All right.
Yeah.
Great.
Cause I'm just gonna open that up to everybody. I'm gonna start doing it with the other commissions as well and so. But it requires you to open your email.
She's looking at me. I'm scared. Scared.
How many in red?
In constant contact, I know when you don't open it.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I will tell you the time you opened it.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's great.
brothers.
Was there?
But that's why I set it up, if you don't open it within so many days, on the forum ones, not all the other ones. It'll automatically email you again. And it'll
I had no idea.
To do an auto reminder? Or like, say if you sent out for like, say the after hours networking event, can you set it up to like 2 days before to give a reminder?
No, it has to be a new one.
All right, anything else on that one, on communication? Okay. On to new business. So, with Julia Lenig, no longer being eligible to be on the commission, that leaves the, vacancy for the vice chair. Do we have nomination or let me make sure that this is the correct process. Do we re-vote for a new vice chair?
Yeah, you have to elect a new one.
All right, so does anyone have nominations for vice chair of the BDC?
I nominate Eric.
I was gonna nominate Eric too, so double nominated. Yep, anyone else? Okay, do we want to take a vote? Everyone in favor of Eric as the vice chair?
Thank you.
Is Eric in favor?
Yeah, great, I did that, thank you.
Oh, right, we didn't ask you.
Sorry. I don't know anything about this.
Emailed Eric in advance, so I'm not.
Waiting on you to say something.
But outwardly, we didn't.
Speech.
Okay, we have open commission vacancies, represented from the crossroads. Oh, because.
Julia, yeah.
Yeah.
We have one coming.
Yeah, so you can wait a few months.
Yeah.
Or.
Can we just change that under your name? Are you like?
Can I do that?
Maybe you send the
You
ladies.
could do that and then the vacancy
Well, then
will
you
open
could-
it up
could be in
to
the-
any Western business owner then as opposed to just district.
Which might be easier to
It gives
fill.
you a lot more
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, it has a slight obligation of you telling us what's going on in Crossroads.
I went to the meeting.
Okay, perfect,
Great, you're on it.
yeah.
Okay, so Betty is now.
So then the word is pursuing someone to fill it, the open Western Groves business opening.
And maybe being intentional, like I know
Oh, yeah.
that you all have talked to.
Oh, yeah, we
the-
usually
Yeah,
reach out.
wonderful.
How many do we have on this?
9.
How many are here right now? Because John's not here.
You know, and John texted me, he had an emergency, by the way. Yeah, he's the only one that's not here, because you have an empty seat.
John 9. Where's the empty seat? I count 8 people here. And no John, that's 9.
There's 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Do you want to read them? Who's on
Usually goes numbers, but I guess I have not.
You have Tammy, Betty, Eric, Melissa, Joe, Tim, John, Jerry, and the vacancy. So there's 9 total, we have 8.
Any thoughts on people we should reach out to? In the past, it was Julia, myself, sometimes. Jean, did you sometimes reach out to people too?
I don't think I have yet.
I did.
I reached out to this.
Yeah. So, any members of the commission
People
can
allow you.
reach out, and then we just send them the link to the application on the website.
What about the mouse? What's the joke?
Too soon.
Fran-
No, they were happier, but I mean, it's just something else.
Ellie Gordon.
Yeah, I don't know if you still have contact with her.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to send her a little note?
Sure.
I don't want to take any more of Ellie's time.
Oh, is she already?
She does a lot for the trade.
She's now the new vice president of the Old Buckeye.
She's doing a ton for us. Where Stacy has.
There's a couple of strong, and we can throw it out to the subcommittee meeting next week if anyone shows up, but there are some good, strong contributors that regularly show up there too.
And I'm not saying don't go with Ellie. I mean, Ellie's a wonderful person, but
I have one.
Okay, the BDC monthly agenda items discussions, was this in relation to, okay. So, in my experience on the BDC in the past, the Chamber of Commerce appeared to play more of an observatory role. And the chamber is now asking to be more of a participatory kind of role where they can collaborate and report on what's happening on their side. And Jerry can also explain better what they would have in mind. But that is something that we'd like to bring up to everyone and get approval to move forward in that direction.
I would want to know what that entails exactly, since the chamber now covers Brentwood as
It's a regional
well.
chamber. It's a regional
It's a
chamber.
regional chamber.
Yeah.
So we've got 4 different municipalities being covered.
Correct.
So what is that exactly? What are you going to cover for Webster versus the chamber? Because
Well,
I don't think the BDC is part of.
I can tell you,
Okay.
I have no interest in just being an observer anymore.
Right.
It's great, right? I can read the minutes or I can talk, we can do coffee, whatever. We are no longer the same chamber that we were 2 years ago. I think chambers in general have evolved into more of a regional, I'm talking strictly from a chamber perspective. I would think if I'm sitting in your chairs, you would want to know what's going on in your neighboring municipalities. And that could only benefit, I think, our progress. This is the only city that has a business development commission. Brentwood, right, is relatively new. We're celebrating 1 year into the chamber.
But they had one before, right? Or they did not?
A development commission,
No, just
Chamber.
they had a chamber,
Okay.
Clayton had a chamber. You can see that it is, chambers are dissolving. So what's happening is there's more collaboration. So I'm appealing to this commission to be collaborative. We already are financially, we're emotionally, right? We are a big community. You are driving traffic from outside. You cannot, and none of us can survive just, by the traffic that we are attracting internally on Lockwood and just within our city boundaries. I thought that we would get resistance from Brentwood, just being the big box community with a $700 million tax base. But they have been incredibly active. Jamie, you were there. Eric, you were at our luncheon. We hosted all 4 mayors. We're bringing it all together. Now, if there is some confidentiality or privacy issues, then, I'm more than happy to sign any kind of, a non-disclosure or confidentiality, whatever would make you comfortable. But again, I think that it is in your best interest, my best interest, sitting here, to know what's going on in the other communities, to better ourselves. I can reference, I'm on the task force, the safety task force. We're referencing Kirkwood and what Kirkwood is doing. Right now, I'm not recommending that, right, we're going to collaborate. There's certain instances where we are going to collaborate with our other partners. But from a chamber perspective, I'm all in. I've worked really hard to break down the walls. Even Tammy, which asked a brilliant question, why should I recommend someone to the Chamber of Commerce? Right? What is the value added? What's the value proposition, right? It's, helping recruitment, it's helping with human capital, helping even with financial capital. Being more than just a social club. We're not a social club, right? We're advancing and advocates for our small businesses.
May I? And what I think also is important to know with their request to be a little bit more collaborative and participant in this commission is that their chamber, 80% of their chamber participation is Webster Groves.
Oh, wow.
So
Yes.
Webster Groves in a way is, I would
Listen,
say,
you're
pretty
the-
much the chamber. of
You are
Commerce.
the anchor. We are the anchor.
So I think
We.
it's really important from not only a development perspective or partnership perspective, but just for the livelihood of the chamber and this community that we are a little bit more in it with each other. So just given that perspective as well. And I don't see what Jerry is asking for being any different than the committee updates that you all give at the end of the meeting. It would just be his opportunity to do the same.
And let me underscore, that's a TR, thank you. Right? The chamber was founded in 1937. So in 2 years, year and a half, we're going to be 90 years old. Webster Groves is the bedrock. So I can tell you, I do a census every month based on business licenses, things that it's interesting, right? Because you can't track our 63119 zip code because that overlaps everywhere. But if you look at just pure mailing address, billing addresses, and believe me, I have actually jettisoned members. So when we started the year, we were at 340 members. We're down to 288 members. The reason is we're after engagement. We're not after numbers. So out of that 288 numbers, there are approximately almost 80% of the membership, active membership, resides right here in Webster Groves.
I'd like to add that our experience with our business was that there are intangible benefits also to being in the chamber, which is the members look to support other members. They look to support one another and lift one another up. And I think that, the fact that Brentwood is a part of that now, and they do have that $750 million base and like all of the other people, we have a lot to learn, to understand and to be informed about. I think it can only benefit us.
And if anyone, I mean, and again, you witnessed it, Tuesday when we had our mayoral and elected officials luncheon. David Dimmitt, Mayor Dimmitt of Brentwood, if anyone would say, I'm the all powerful, right? Because of our budget and, the type of revenue that they have. You will not meet a more collaborative mayor, elected official who is more personable, unassuming, and is so engaged in the chamber.
Do we have any other questions, or do you want to go ahead and?
I motion to approve a report from Jerry at the proper time in our meetings.
Okay, so a regular report from the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
You need a second?
You did?
Give me first. and second.
Everyone in favor of adding the chamber to our agenda? Great. Thank you,
Thank you,
Jerry.
Mayor. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Jerry.
Appreciate it.
Okay, quickly, do we have any business district updates? Betty?
Sure, so we.
Wow. Right.
We talked about the streetscape project and just some of the plans for that. Sounds like it's gonna be really great.
But
When
not
does
till
that start?
2027.
Yeah, not till 2027.
Goodness.
We've been talking about this
Yeah,
for,
for
I mean,
years. I know.
I think I was 5 when we started talking about this.
Sounds like it's gonna be great though. It's gonna be really good. And they were talking about adding some lights in the parking lot on Alma. We talked about the 4th of July. And Janice came to talk about the Arts Commission too. Great, that was it. Yeah.
Tim, do you have anything from Old Webster?
I do not. I'm looking at our thing. Our meeting was just Tuesday. No, I've got nothing, but if I could take one quick minute and talk to my city friends down there. I did this on Tuesday as well too. We had a graduation party for my daughter. Congratulations as well too.
Thanks.
Yeah. And the number of people that, because we do a pool, I guess that's why it came up. About what is going on at Webster Pool is absolutely horrendous. I mean, I can't tell you how many people, 10, 15 that are asking for their money back, and they're going to Crestwood now. Because of mostly the free passes, the fact that there's no place to sit, you can't stand at the pool, the amount of weed that's being smoked in the pool area, in the bathrooms, cigars being smoked in the pool area. Emerson was here on Tuesday, and I know he's a big proponent of the free people coming in, but and he raises a lot of the money to do that. But yes, it's a big new shiny thing in town, not just our town, but the newest pool. But it is, Webster residents are not going to the pool. They're taking back their memberships and going to Crestwood. And I think that is a horrendous thing going on. And TR, I don't know if you have that much to do with anything, but
Well, I will just say there's a lot of history in those free passes, and why they exist and why they're important to this community. But I also will say, for the amount of money that is raised, the city of Webster is very involved with Rock Hill Ministries and the school district to raise those funds. And this year, I only think their goal was to get enough passes, I think, for less than 30. And so,
but they got $18,000 worth of funds.
and so when then you get a full pass for a year, divide that amongst people, it's less than 100 people. It's probably less than 50.
It's not, no, it's
What
not.
else I would say is that
It's
I know there's a lot of concerns with the amount of people at the pool, because it is the new shiny thing. It's exciting, it's fun. Our pool capacity is 1,860 people at one given time.
Right.
On Sunday, we did 1,903 people to
Throughout the
full
day.
day.
throughout the day.
And so the pool is
Yep.
never
Yep.
touching its full capacity.
Right.
And so I think instead of, it's exciting right now. And I think as a community, that's a benefit to you all. Because we don't want people to go into Crestwood. And I don't think our numbers for memberships is reflecting what you're saying. So I don't know what your experience has been. And I know police can speak a little bit more, but there's no smoking at the pool. What people do before and what aromas they bring in, that's one thing, but there's no.
They're smoking at the pool. These are good friends of mine. They're not making this stuff up. They're smoking in the pool and the bathrooms, and even who's our liaison from the city for
Scott Davis.
Scott. Even Scott has said,
Is this really a business development commission topic?
I said I was gonna bring it up to any city officials that I was around. And so I'm just taking my moment.
We're over time.
I know we are,
the
and I'm just
agenda.
taking, I didn't have anything for that, so I just wanted to bring this up to you guys that Webster residents are not going to the pool anymore, and that is a shame.
Okay, so back to the agenda. We still need to hear from the Old Orchard.
Yeah.
Is there anything to report there?
Yeah, a few things. We have some members that are gonna be a part of the summer sidewalk sale, so excited about that. They see the Webster's Farmers Market that Oakwood and Amy's and Maypop are putting together every Sunday. Bonaventure,
Getting good attendance?
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's been great. Bonaventure Coffee, I don't know if everybody remembers those from
Yeah.
the Brentwood area. They've been popping up into various businesses in Old Orchard to kind of get an idea of excitement, and it's going really well for them. So they are very interested in moving into the Webster area and looking around there. We have a bakery crawl coming up in mid-July with Vanilla Sugar Bake Shop and Bijou Chocolates will both be in that.
I'm sorry,
Bakery crawl.
Yeah, so it's not just a Webster thing, sorry, it's just a whole citywide thing, but yeah. You get like a little passport type thing and go around to the different bakeries in the area, it's pretty cool. I think this is, I don't think, I know, this is the second year they're doing it, it was very successful, so they're doing it again this year.
When is it, Joe? I'm sorry.
I will have to, it's, oh no, it is. I'm gonna screw up the exact dates, but around the 14th of July,
Cool.
whatever that week is. That might be one, I don't know what date that is, but.
Who's
around that week.
organizing that?
And I can't remember the bakery, they're in South County. Because all the bakery, I don't know, that's a bad thing, but they all sound the same, so egg and bake and stuff, so. But yeah, that's really cool, so bringing more folks back here again, so that's what I have.
Great, excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, city council?
We passed our budget, so that always feels amazing. And like I mentioned, we are looking at the comp plan, starting to look at the comp plan. And it's gonna engage a lot of businesses, and I think it'll be really interesting for you also. As that progresses, I will bring more information to this commission. And then the last thing I have is just a note of, I've mentioned this before, that the Sustainability Commission has worked with, and you all have helped and spread the word on the Green Dining District, and Webster indeed is now a Green Dining District with a fifth one in the region. Is pretty exciting. And there is a Bikes and Bites Green Dining Alliance kind of bike tour. And that is happening on these updates on this. July 19th from 2 to 5. The city is also going to be doing some special recognition of our restaurants who are part of that at our council meeting in mid-July. It's a big accomplishment, and I'm hoping that like more restaurants want to like come aboard. It's a really cool thing to be a part of. And talking regionally, people look on their website, on Earth Day 365's website, on Green Dining Alliances, which is a program of Earth Day 365, to find and support restaurants who have green practices. So it is a very regional, really cool thing. So Earth Day is working on spreading the word on this, and Webster is going to be really in the spotlight, and also celebrating our restaurants. So that's what I got. Yeah.
From the city specifically, you all, well, I don't know if it went to all of you or just the commission chair, but there's now a grant notice form for all commissions who are interested in applying for grants. It's just a more streamlined way of the city being aware of any grants that you're interested in, and then making sure they align not only with the city's strategic goals, but to make sure other commissions are not overlapping in what they're doing. And so just to be a little bit more proactive in helping you guys through those processes is what those forms are for. And so if you ever have a grant that you're interested in, just let me know and I can help you walk through that process. Tammy or Katie can as well.
Is this similar to the $100 Webster Bucks thing that we had before, or is this like a different amount? Is this when things are outside of the budget request?
No, this grant notice form is, let's say you find a grant from the federal.
I see
government.
the opposite,
Yeah.
where you're out, you're communicating, you find out, oh, there's this grant available for cities to, okay, so it's a notification to the city that there's potential something. Gotcha.
Business licenses, of course, they were due April 30th, but a second late renewal notice will go out to any businesses who are still outstanding. Monday, we pulled a report, it's like 370 of them. So those businesses have been notified via email, and we'll get a mailed notice. So yeah.
Can I ask, when is that mailing going out?
The mailing, if it has not gone out already, it'll go out by Friday, but the email was sent out today.
I paid. I didn't pay in 23, 24 then.
Community days is next week. Come out, support, celebrate, and have a great time. And other than that, that's all I have.
Can I add two things really quick? I'm walking out the door. So I'm really thrilled. We are gonna be, the chamber, you think of us as like the Intel processor. We are in the parade next Friday, really celebrating Eden Seminary, which is bringing out like 10 people. So we built a float, and it's all about the heart of the community, where Eden Seminary and then the Repertory Theater is going to be celebrated. So we've got about 20 people marching. So I'm pretty excited, and I know we have our meeting tonight. So
Also, sorry, we're looking for 3 judges. So if any of you are interested in being a judge for the parade,
I'll actually do it.
Okay.
I'll do it.
all right,
Right.
are you gonna do it too?
No, I said. Have the march in the parade with the Cub Scouts.
And I've marched. No,
So
I
need
thought,
2 more.
I thought about it on Tuesday, but yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, thank you, Tim.
Yes.
Awesome.
Jerry, I have a quick question because you had prepared a list of things that you wanted to talk about today. Are those things that can hold over to our next meeting?
absolutely, yeah. I think, yeah, if I can have
Now that you
5
passed.
minutes,
Yeah.
now that I've been, I have a seat. So if I can have 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes next
I just
meeting.
wanted to be sure
Yeah,
there wasn't
I want
anything
to go
time
through that
sensitive.
are covered, most important.
Great. So thank you to everyone for rescheduling the meeting this time around, and that makes our next one August 7th. Before we close out the meetings, or any other questions or comments?
July 1st for your July 1st for your, all right.
Huh?
Your meeting, on July 1st, at the beginning.
Yeah,
I was
The
just.
subcommittee? Yeah. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn
Adjourn.
in favor? Yay.